Now we're going to draw our function of 3 cos 2x minus 1 plus 4. So look at this function. So our basically the basic function will be cos. So we were referring to the cos. So this is our base cos x basic graph. So one period we are up to 2 pi and pi. So what happened to the function? You can see this is 3, means original amplitude is 1 and negative 1. When you multiply by 3, means here the amplitude will become 3 and negative 3. So this is amplitude. And then plus 4. Plus 4 means entire graph you're going to move up 4 units. So the maximum value original is at 3. When it move up 4 units, it will up to 7. So when this move up 4 units, it will be up to 1. So entire graph will be shifting up 4 units. So this is move up or move down. So plus we move up. Then we're going to see this x. This is our period here. So original, if 1x means your graph is in the period of 2 pi. So when you have 2x means this in the period of 2 pi here we're having 2 oscillating this graph. So originally is 0 up to 2 pi is for 1x. So when it have 2x means this graph need to repeat 2 times in this period, in this 0 until 2 pi. So therefore your graph will be one pattern at here and another pattern at here. So this is for cos 2x. The periodic is repeating by 2. So that is mean by 2x. And then what's your starting value here? It should not be 0 because you can see 2x minus 1 equals to 0, x equals to 1 over 2. When you have x equals to 1 over 2, means entire graph will going to move to the right hand side 1 over 2 unit. So therefore, when I move it, shift the entire graph 1 over 2, so it will start at here. Alright, so when I move, so for this part, it already axis 2 pi. What we need to draw is within 0 and 2 pi, so more than that we don't need to show up. So when I move the graph, entire graph to the right hand side 1 over 2 unit, okay, so here I need to touch up from negative part. So now you can see the entire graph, the changing for entire graph. So finally, we draw it. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. From 0 up to 2 pi. In the middle is pi. So maximum value, the amplitude up to 7. You can see our graph. We already shift up 4 units. So original 3 up to 7. So here original minimum is negative 3. Shift up 4 units. Move up 4 units. Our minimum value is 1. Then I can start drawing the graph. Start from 1 over 2. So I draw back the original pattern first. So start from 1 over 2. So I know that when I shift, so I will ending at pi plus 1 over 2. So this is 1x, 2x. Supposedly ending at here, but our graph is more than 2 pi already. So this part is going to rub off. We only show until 2 pi. So at the beginning of the graph, I just touch up, start from 0. Alright, so label. So this is pi over 2 for here. So your minimum of the graph supposedly is pi over 2. So when you move it to the right hand side, it will be plus 1 over 2. So original is 0. You can see starting is 0. Now we're starting with plus 1 over 2. So become start with 1 over 2. So original here is pi over 2. Then when we move to the right hand side, so the minimum value become at pi over 2 plus 1 over 2. So then continue, ending should be at pi. So when you shift the entire graph to the right hand side, so ending here will be pi plus 1 over 2. And then here your minimum. So your minimum originally supposed to be 3 over 2 pi. So after move to the right, it will be 3 over 2 pi plus 1 over 2. So that's all for the graph. Lastly, we label. So when we're doing trigonometry graphs, so it is important we show out what's your maximum amplitude, what's your minimum value here, and then what's your point, what's the coordinate for you getting maximum and minimum, where's your maximum and minimum, and then draw according to the domain that asks us to do. So if they ask us to show 0 up to 2 pi, then the rest of it we just rub off. We don't need to show the rest of the part. Continue for tangent. So basically, if tangent, one period of the graph is pi, it having asymptote at pi over 2. So it's going to shoot up, then the graph will going near to the asymptote. So this is one period. So when I continue, here will be 3 over 2 pi. Asymptote ending at 2 pi. So we have two periods here. One period for pi. So this is our basic graph for tangent x. So tangent x, we no need to care about its amplitude because it's going to infinity and negative infinity. So what we have to alert here is the x here. So the x here is having two cycle of the graph, two repeating pattern of this graph. So it still start with 0. You can see x is still start with 0. Alright, but you have to repeat these two graphs repeatedly. So one pattern at pi, so now we have to repeat it 2 times. So 2x means kita kena berulang pattern ni 2 kali. So kita kena kecilkan scale. So dalam ni kena repeat lukis 4. So bila ada pi, bila kita tengok pi sini, ini adalah satu pattern. So bila saya nak repeat dia 2 kali, maksudnya saya kena kecilkan scale. So bermaksud dalam pi over 2 saya kena lukis 1 dah. Then Sini repeat lagi. Macam ni saya akan dapat dua pattern dalam satu pi. Original in one pi is one period. So when we times 2 means in one pi we're having 2. So we're going to show up to 3 over 4. So here will be pi over 2 divided by half. So this is pi over 4. Alright, this is pi over 4. This is pi over 2. So we will show until here. Until here. 3 over 4 pi. Then this is 1 pi. So for 0 up to pi over 4. So this part for 0 up to pi over 4. Continue. Here will be pi over 2. And then continue. So here will be our 3 pi over 4. So our graph just will show until pi over 4, this only, this part only. So the rest of it, we no need to show up. Okay, so we done from 0 to 3 over 4 pi. So we repeat for the left hand side. We repeat for the left hand side, just like reflection to the left hand side. So for left hand side, we also will having the same asymptote at negative pi over 4. And then pi over 2 is not having asymptote. Pi over 2 here, I just want to show you this is one period. So this asymptote we can rub off. It didn't having a asymptote here. Asymptote having at 3 pi over 4. Negative 3 pi over 4. Negative pi over 2. 0. Alright, so we done. So this is y equals to tangent 2x. So after we looking our graph here, so actually this is the graph from question example 22. When we having tangent 2x. So you're having tangent 2x, where's your domain? Domain can be anywhere except for this asymptote. So asymptote occur at pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. So you can refer here, that's why y, there will be pi over 4 and n. So 1 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, odd integer. 5 pi over 4, negative also can. Meanwhile, for question A and question B, domain is negative infinity to infinity because it doesn't stick anything to us. But when we drawing graph for this question, the domain is negative pi to pi. So that's why we just show our graph from negative pi to pi. For B, from 0 to 2 pi. So then we can review their range. So you can see when you're having amplitude, like question B, 3 cos plus 3 cos plus 4. So the amplitude maximum is 7, minimum is 1. So inside here is a periodic graph. It's about your x-axis, how you shift to the right or shift to the left, and how many cycles in the graph that you should show. So when you're looking at x, means one period of the graph. When you see it is 2x, means within this 2 pi, you have to draw it twice. The period have to repeat twice. So that will be our graphing for trigonometry.